In this video, we're going to go over e-filing a tax return in the web software using the interview input method. Now, once you've created your return and you've entered all of the information, you'll be looking at this tax summary page showing you all the details regarding your federal return. So once you've made it to this screen, we're going to scroll down to the bottom and click on Save and Continue, where we can fill out the next few pages. You'll have your federal tax refund options where you can indicate the direct deposit or receiving a paper check. And just for this example, we're going to receive a check. I'm going to press Save and Continue. On the next screen, you'll be asked if you want to generate estimated payment vouchers for the next tax year. Indicate your option and then press on Save and Continue. And then on this screen here, you'll be able to review and print your forms and attach any worksheets or any forms that need to be e-filed. And once you've taken care of everything on the screen, you can click on Save and Continue Return. And if you have a state, you'll have the information here presented to you. You may see Prepared, where everything is ready, it's done, or you may see Unfinished, where you'll need to go back in and revisit the state return and go through their pages. And once everything is done, and as long as you have this prepared, you can click on the next the button here, Save and Continue Return. Now, the first step into e-filing is you'll be asked about the IP PIN information. If they have that IP PIN, you'll want to indicate yes. If not, just select no and Save and Continue Return. Alright, so now here we are beginning on the 8879 and the PIN page. So we'll want to indicate what are we going to do with this return. It's going to default to e-file our federal return, so we're going to have this box checked. If you do want a paper file, just make sure you switch it over that we will not e-file, but for this example we are going to. And then we're going to click on Save and Continue Return. Now on the following page here, you can, starting at the top, you have your options of using practitioner PIN or self-select PIN. For this example, we're going to use our practitioner PIN. We're going to make sure that's our EFIN, enter our PIN. And then for the taxpayer, you can auto-generate or enter a manual number. And if you do it, you'll want to check the box entered by ERO. And then we can click on Save and Continue Return. And so on this screen here, we're looking at our filing summary. We're going to check the box of what will be e-filed. So I've got the federal return and our Missouri return. Both will be e-filed. And then we can Save and Continue Return. And then on the next screen, we're looking at our payment or refund summary. And since on this return we're getting refunds from federal and state, we're receiving a paper check. We don't have too much to review, but if you do have account information, bank account information, you can click on these buttons here to update the information to review if necessary. If you confirm that everything is okay, you can check this box here that you've reviewed the information is correct and complete, and then click on Save and Continue Return. Alright, so now on the following page here, we need to review these questions here. Are we ready to mark the return as completed? Yes, we are. How will we be filing this return? For this one, we're going to be doing electronically. And then, are we ready to mark the return as reviewed? Yes, we are. Now, the first and the third question here, they must be selected as yes. Otherwise, the program will not allow you to e-file. So if you're having any trouble, you may want to come back and review this page. But we do have both of them selected as yes and to go electronically. So now we're just going to click on Save and Continue Return. Now you'll be taken back to the Manage Return screen for your particular client. And if we look down towards the bottom, we're going to have a warning here that the e-file option is not available due to the payment not being completed for this return. So if we just go down a little bit lower under our payment and e-file details, we'll see that our Start Payment button is active. So we're going to want to click on this and go complete the payment. Now on the next screen here, you're going to have our client payment details. It is quite empty, so to get this taken care of, we're going to come up here and click on Add New Invoice. Now, for the client payment, it's going to depend on your setup. I have it set up as manually entering the charges after each return. If you have the fixed price or price per form, you may see a different page where you can adjust as necessary. But for this one, I'm just going to enter the price real quick. And then I'm going to press on continue. Now on the following screen we have our client payment details, where at the top we see our federal and Missouri charges. We can click on modified charges here if we want to add any discounts or additional charges. And then you'll see the summary here in the middle section. And then down below we'll have our options if we want to do for federal only, state only, or federal and state. Payment mode, we have non-banking and banking. Non-banking will be your cash, check, credit cards, money orders. Banking would be your refund transfers that are offered through our banking partners. And we will go through that on another video. But once you've made your selections, we're just going to click on continue. And then on this screen here, we're going to go through a few options here. Would we like to make our payment now? We're going to say yes, we would. If you say no, this would be they're going to invoice only and they're going to pay us at a later date. But for this one, we're going to select yes, and then we're going to indicate how they're paying us and then how much. And if everything has been taken care of, they've paid you right away, we can go ahead and mark yes, this invoice has been completed. And then down below, we have this big option here. Do you want to e-file this return now? Yes or no. If you select yes and hit save and continue, it's going to take you directly to the e-file screen. If you say no, we can still e-file the return, it just won't take us to that page. And just for this example, we're going to say no so it can show you the long way to get to that screen. So we're going to say no, and we're going to click on save and continue. And then now here we are back on our client payment details screen, where we see we have our master payment at the top. It was made by cash, nothing's owed. We have our payment date and invoice number. We can go back and edit that payment. We can look at it by clicking on view. Down at the bottom we have our options to print the invoices. And then again here you see add new invoice. So if you need to add a second or third invoice for an amended return or whatever it may be, you would just click on that. But for this one, we're just going to go ahead and click on Back to Manage Returns. Now down below at the bottom under Payment and e-file Details, we see that warning is gone, and now that our Transmit Now button is active. So we'll go ahead and click on Transmit Now. Now the return hasn't been sent just yet. We are very close. We're one step away. We need to decide what we're going to send. If we want to send state only, we just check this box here for the state. If we're just going to send federal, you only want to select the 1040. If you want to send both federal and state, we're going to select here the 1040. And then under state piggyback e-file, we're going to select our state return. And then now you have two options down below. Add to queue puts it off to the side. It puts it in a ready to transmit status. This would be good if you like to batch e-file several returns at the end of the day or whenever you see necessary. Transmit Now will send it right now. So for this example, that's what we're going to do. We're going to click on Transmit Now. And so now we can see under our federal state extension details here in the middle that our returns have been queued. So this means that you have sent them to the transmitter, and then we are just waiting for the IRS to pick them up, and the state as well. And when the IRS and state do pick them up, the status will update to transmitted, and then that's where we'll be waiting for accepted or rejected. Now you can always come back to this screen here to check the status. You can also check the status by going over here to e-file, and then you can click on these buttons up here at the top. So any return that contains this status will show up down below. So if I were to click on queued, here is our return that we had just sent. And as you can see, the status is both in this peach colored here, so that means they are in the queued status. You can click on this eyeball here to get additional information. And over here under this icon right here, if you ever need to remove the return from the queue because there has been a mistake, something was wrong, you didn't mean to send it, you can click on this icon here to remove the return from queue. Now, this option is only available when the returns, both federal and if they're states, the states as well, must be in the queued status. If anything has gone to transmitted or even accepted or rejected, you cannot pull it back. And you have to be quick about this. It only gives you a couple minutes. If that, it sends very quickly. But if you realize as soon as something's sent, you can pull this return back quickly. And one thing I would like to touch on here, when we had the option to transmit now and queue for transmit, and I was saying if you click on the add to queue option, where you can batch e-file, they will show up here under queue for transmit. And that is how you would e-file a tax return using the web-based software in the interview input.